Hi, I'm Kade, and you're tuned in to Climate Action Figures.
Well, welcome to the first episode of Climate Action Figures, where we have an actual guest. I am your excited host, John Whidden, and today on the show, you get to meet Kade, a grade 6 student with some very cool ideas. But first, today's quick fix. Today's quick fix brought to you by Linda in Calgary, and she says her quick fix is learn how to cook. Besides the mountain of fast food delivery containers you will be saving from the landfill, you will be making healthy, delicious choices. You will also learn to care for your own body, and that will prepare you to care for others around you and for our beautiful earth. Thank you, Linda, and please send us your quick fix, any simple thing that we can all do to be better stewards of the environment. You can reach us on Instagram, Facebook, or our email address, climateactionfigures@gmail.com. Kade, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
What do you think about today's quick fix?
That quick fix was an interesting one because not only does it save the environment, it could also save you money. By making things at home, you can save money instead of buying and buying and buying all that junk you're putting into the environment.
Very good. Are you a chef in your house, Kade?
Microwavable stuff, I'm a chef.
Perfect. So, Kade, you and I met when I was at your school sharing a program about climate anxiety. Do you remember anything about that program?
I remember we got both the classes together, and then you would teach us all one big thing instead of going back and forth and back and forth. You spaced out good times for it, and you made it actually quite fun for us. Although it was learning, you put in fun activities here and there to keep us interested and help us learn about a very important topic.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. And then you became famous when you appeared on the national CBC program, What on Earth? So I wanted to get you on the podcast before your agent jacked up your rates so high that we couldn't afford to have you on, right? Did you get any feedback from your appearance on What on Earth? Relatives from afar telling you that they've heard you across the country?
Yeah, I got a call from all my relatives, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're famous!" It was just
Very good.
Thanksgiving was
Excellent.
a nightmare.
So, Kade, I have to tell the people who are strictly listening to the podcast, that if you're watching on the YouTube channel, then you'll know that I'm wearing a tie, which is not the norm for the podcast. I'm usually going to be in more casual garb. But when I go out to schools, I always wear a tie, and the students get to vote on the tie. And I knew that Kade would be upset with me if I did not wear a tie tonight. Is this correct, Kade?
Yes, this is correct.
So, Kade, can you describe for the nice people what you see in the tie for those of you who are listening out there?
It's got a red velvety background lined with sheep, and in the middle there's one black sheep.
We got a bunch of white sheep and one black sheep, and I'm very careful about my choice of ties. They always have a reason for being, and this one's for you, Kade, because you are not afraid to stand out from the crowd. That one sheep stands out on the tie, so that explains the tie. So now you have to rate the tie. The tie rating is either thumbs up, thumbs down, or so-so. So what do you give the tie, Kade? Oh, he's thinking. Oh, and it's a thumbs up. Congratulations to the sheep tie for getting a thumbs up today. All right, let's get moving along here. Before we get to your climate action, Kade, I'd like to know, after that program that you had in your school about climate anxiety, how you're feeling generally about the climate and the state of things in the world.
Well, climate change started from like a couple hundred years ago, but our planet's going to be long gone in about 100 if we don't do something about it. And it's really hard to do something about it because lots of people deny it that are conspiracy theorists, and it's hard to get around people like them. But still, many people actually try to save the environment. There's a lot of kids my age that are talking to the Prime Minister or giving speeches at the UN and doing many things like that. But it's not only kids my age, many people of all ages around every community try to do something.
All right. So you got some concerns, but you're also getting some hope from what you see going on around you. So
correct.
Cade, the whole point of this podcast is to share little actions that regular people are doing to help mitigate climate change. So tell us, Cade, what is your climate action?
Honestly, invest in a pair of sneakers. You don't always need to drive to place. I see many people that have a convenience store about a block away. They get in their car and drive. I understand if it's a blizzard out, but if it's a nice sunny day, I don't understand why you can lace up your boots and just go for a nice walk.
Very good advice. So your climate, I'm sure you have a lot of climate actions, but the one you wanted to share today was get out and walk places.
Yeah.
Is your neighborhood a place where you can actually walk to get, like, I mean, you just have to go out and walk the dog, or can you actually get places? Could you go to the store? Could you walk to
So
school,
there,
for example?
I can walk to school. I can walk to my best friend's house, and there's a store right by me. And by my house, there's a nice long path by a field that I can take my dog on walks for.
What is most of your walking in the day? Is it walking your dog or walking to your friend's place? What are most of your
And
where are most of your steps taking you?
my daily routine, I usually go on a walk with my dad. We loop around the entire like area of like classified as Crescent Heights.
And sometimes, Kate, people say that our cities and our towns are not that well designed for walking. Are there things, do you think, that our city could do to make it easier for people to walk?
Well, they do have a variety of parks, but there's only like two trails people can go on, but there's a bunch of small trails that go on the different trails. So there's a bunch of small trails that go for about 20 feet to another trail, and then there's only like four main trails. So I think if they had like other walking paths, then people would get out more, and they can make like a nice like gym for people to use. Then if they're trying to stay healthy by going to the gym, they would like run or walk to the gym.
Sure. And I've noticed, I'm curious to know if the same is true of your part of town, but around here, as soon as the snow hits, within a day, the little sweepers are out or the plows are out to clear the walking paths. So I find that great because then it really encourages people to get out there. Is it the same with your neighborhood?
We have a few nice people that use because there's a few people that have leaf blowers, and since it takes about 3 seconds to clear their driveway, they like to help out around the neighborhood, and that helps other people, and then it's a continuous string of people helping until the sidewalks are clear.
Very good. Very good. One more question, Cade, before we wrap up today, and that is what do you see? You're in grade 6 at your school. What do you see other people doing around the school that are other climate actions aside from walking?
So a lot of people just like recycle, but that's mostly everybody does that. But there are a few like really nice people, and they will pick up trash if they see it, and they will put it in the garbage. And there's a lot of people that are very interested with the solar panels that are on our roof, and a lot that try to make fundraisers that our school can use because our class goes on an end of the year trip. And they're doing fundraisers like cleaning up the neighborhood or like shoveling people's driveways or like making something that could help the environment.
Oh, that's great. And you know, Kate, I should have asked earlier when we did the program in your school, what was your project? I mentioned to their listeners last week that everybody had to choose something that they would work on for a week and then tell the class about that. So what was your project that you worked on?
My project was about how my grandpa used to work in the coal mine and the effects of that fossil fuel had on our day and age now, and what we can do to stop them.
So you learned some things about coal. Very good. All right. At the end of each program, Cade, we ask our guest, what gives you hope in this world today? So tell us what your answer would be to that question.
There's a lot of young people, and most people now they like to help with the environment because now it's our job to clean it up. Because by the time we're in the senior home, Antarctica is going to be underwater. So we have to do these things so that we can actually have a planet to live on. For say I had kids, and so they had a planet to live on, and their kids too.
And you feel like you're seeing people your age taking some action that looks like it's going to work?
Yeah, especially after you came. Like people before you came, they barely recycled, and now people are fully invested in helping climate change go back to a natural pace instead of us humans speeding up with fossil fuels and greenhouse gases.
Well, it's great to hear that you have hope, and I'm sure I heard of a lot of things that were going on in your school before I came. You mentioned the solar panels, lots of cool things happening around there. So, Kate, thank you very much for taking the time to join us here today. And listener, thank you very much for taking the time to join the two of us. We'll be back again next week with another Climate Action Figure.
This has been Climate Action Figures. Our show is produced and hosted by John Whidden. Our creative consultant is Kayla McIntosh. Our theme song is Hawaii Vacation by Kavari. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Climate Action Figures. That's all one word. And if you have any other questions or comments that arose from this or any episode, feel free to reach out to us at climateactionfigures@gmail.com. And thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another Climate Action Figure.